Sphinx, I got a riddle for you.
Ooh, I'm listening.
What do you get a nerdy, witchy, artsy girlfriend who's super particular about her art supplies and already has a gazillion books, so getting another book runs the risk of getting something she already has?
That is the worst riddle I've ever heard.
Valentine's Day struggles? Yeah. We usually do something chill and it's not really high pressure, but I like getting her presents, especially now that I have actual money. You could get her a subscription for a blind date with a book. You get a mystery book every month in whatever genre you pick. Considering how eclectic Nicole is as a reader, you could choose romance to stay on theme. No, modern romance books suck. They have nothing on the classics. What, like Romeo and Juliet? She hates tragedies. I was actually thinking about far earlier, like Eros and Psyche.
Who?
Eros and Psyche, the ancient Greek god of love and his wife. How do you not know this?
I mostly slept through my English class.
Even if they hadn't, do we really trust the American education system at this point?
No, we do not.
God tell us. Wah! The earliest version we have of this story comes from the Roman author Apuleius, which is rather late in the game in terms of ancient Greek mythology, seeing as he lived in the 2nd century CE, 400 years after the time period we think of as classical Greece. The story begins with an ancient Greek king and queen who had 3 daughters, all of them beautiful. But the youngest, Psyche, was easily the most beautiful. In fact, she was so beautiful that her people began worshipping her as the goddess of beauty rather than the Olympian Aphrodite, to the point that Aphrodite's temples were going neglected. No festivals, no rites, no prayers, nothing. It was all going to Psyche. And Aphrodite was furious.
That bitch! Who does she think she is?
I'm the literal goddess of beauty. I was judged more beautiful than the other Olympians by the golden apple. She's only that pretty because I gave her that blessing. I made it possible. What an ungrateful look. Eros, Yamo? Wait, if Aphrodite's the goddess of beauty and love and all of that, what's Eros' deal?
You know him best as Cupid.
Oh, so he's the guy with the arrows that make people fall in love? Exactly. The golden arrows make people fall in love, and the lead arrows make people fall out of love, although those don't appear in this story. Anyway, honey, I need you to go down to Earth and hit Psyche with one of your golden arrows. Make her fall in love with someone or something really gross. Something that will doom her to a life of misery. A beggar or criminal or animal. Something. Consider it done. You want me to hit the other guy with a lead arrow so Psyche will be in love with him, but he won't be in love with her? Ooh, the definitely get that. You know, this is why everyone else on Olympus is so afraid of you. Do whatever you think will cause Psyche the most suffering. Okay, where's the lovely lady who thinks she is prettier than a literal goddess? Oh no, she's hot. In some versions of the myth, he pricks himself on his own golden arrow, thus dooming himself to love her.
Idiot.
It's a metaphor. Anyway, Psyche was having problems of her own. Hey, there's my favorite girl. What has you so down in blue? Oh, I don't know. I don't have any friends. Both my sisters have been married and started families while I'm still stuck here alone, and everyone keeps ogling me without trying to get to know me, making me feel like a piece of meat. Whoever said that beauty was a gift was lying. Teenagers, you all are never happy. Dad, I'm trying to tell you that nobody sees me as a person. Everyone just wants to look at me like I'm some sort of statue. But anytime I try to start a conversation with someone, they completely ignore whatever I have to say. That's nice, dear. Well, I'm off to the Oracle. I think we might have angered the gods by letting our people treat you like an Olympian. Besides, it's about time you got married. Who better to ask than the Oracle? Whoa, wait. Marriage? You said she was a teenager. You don't read a lot of history books, do you? It was rare for noble and royal Greek girls to still be unmarried by the time they were 15, outside of Sparta. Essentially, once a girl began menstruating, she was considered eligible for marriage, no matter how old she truly was. Psyche would likely be around 12 to 14 years old in this story. I'd argue she'd be a little older. After all, the big problem was that she was so beautiful, no one wanted to actually be with her. So you could argue she was closer to 15 or even 16 if her dad was complaining about it. You're saying nobody wanted to marry the gorgeous rich girl who was young enough to be groomed and manipulated? I call bullshit. She would be hounded by suitors. Her dad would have had to beat them off with a stick. Yeah, they didn't see her as a person, though. They saw her as an object. That would have made it worse. Yeah, I heard it as soon as I said it. Look, Greek myths don't have to make sense, okay? Moving on. Oh, great oracle, which king should my youngest daughter marry? Make it a good one. We're going to lose bags and bags of money when we marry her off. On some high mountained craggy summit place, the virgin, decked for deadly nuptial rites, nor hope a son-in-law of mortal birth, but a dire mischief, viperous and fierce, who flies through aether and with fire and sword, tires and debilitates all things that are, terrific to the powers that reign on high. Great Zeus himself fears this winged pest, and streams and Stygian shades his power abhor. Can you repeat that? I never got into poetry. Your daughter's marrying an immortal monster that even the gods fear. Leave her on a cliff for him to pick her up. Next. The king returned to his home and daughter to deliver the unhappy news. And now you're doomed to marry a monster. No, duh! Hubris always has consequences. Where was this grief when people were calling me the new Aphrodite? Where was it when your subjects were neglecting her temples? And now that I'm being punished for your bullshit, now you're crying? I'm not. Because at least I get to be done with this nonsense. Lead me to that rocky cliff so I can finally live with a man with more sense than you. Hell yeah, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Don't get your hopes up. That's her only good moment of rebellion. Balls. Psyche was led to the edge of a cliff as per the oracle's orders. As soon as everyone else left her. Hey, sup? Hi. You don't look like a monster. Thank you, I think. I'm Zephyr, the West Wind. I've been ordered to take you to your fiancé. Zephyr carried her to a palace hidden in a valley, the castle too wonderfully built to be the work of anyone but a god. It was huge and must have required a massive staff for upkeep, but Psyche saw no one. Is everything to your liking, princess?
Yeah, who said that?
The servants here are all invisible. Let's get you fed and washed, and tonight you'll meet your husband. Does she at least get to have dinner with him first? No. How about a hi, how are you, what's your name, my name is? Nope. He shows up in her room at night, makes her his wife, and then leaves before sunrise so she can't even see his face or learn his name. This is a love story? Feels like a horror movie. Ancient Greece had many issues. It became their thing. Psyche was perfectly happy, even if she couldn't see anyone and only ever talked to her husband at night. But once the novelty wore off, she had questions. Hey, do you want to maybe have a picnic in the courtyard today? No, you can't ever see me. We're married? Yeah, and I already have you living in luxury in a literal palace. What more do you want? I'd like to know your name and see your face. Oh, so you doubt my love? I thought looks meant nothing to you. They do mean nothing. Whatever. There's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. My parents and sisters all think that I'm dead. And so does Aphrodite. There's some safety in that. I know, but I don't want my family to suffer. Can't my sisters come and visit me so I can tell them that I'm okay? Ugh. Fine, I'll have Zephyr bring them over, but don't tell them anything about me. I promise I won't say a word, and if they ask, I'll lie. That's so weird! Domestic abusers have the exact same rules. And so many people ask why I remain single for so many centuries. If I hadn't met the absolute smoke show that is Nicole, I'd be right there with you. Anyway, the two sisters arrived, escorted down to the valley by Zephyr, and happily reunited with Psyche. I'm so happy you're safe. Girl, we heard that you married a monster. Oh, you can't believe everything you hear. He's an absolute sweetheart. I mean, just look at this place. I'm looking. So who is your husband anyway? Oh, he's a very handsome young man. Got a bit of a beard, kind of scruffy. He spends all his time hunting. Anyway, before you go, I wanted to give you some jewelry. My husband gives me way too much. I don't know what to do with it. After their visit, Zephyr carried the two sisters back up to the cliff, where they started walking home. Unbelievable. I know, right? A god's palace, invisible servants. She's always been the favorite, always the lucky child, always the most blessed, but this goes too far. If she stays with him, he'll make her a goddess. Like she wasn't behaving like one already, all proud and condescending and, oh, I have so much jewelry, please take it off my hands. She could show a little more gratitude. My husband's older than father and bold as a pumpkin. Girl, don't even get me started. Mine's got arthritis, so I don't get laid more than once a blue moon, and his fingers are so crooked and knobby with gout that I'm constantly massaging them. I'm treated more like a physician's assistant than a queen. Bad enough that Psyche was always the new Aphrodite. We can't let her become an actual goddess. I say we take her down a peg. I think you're right. But we can't let anyone else know that she's still alive. They just get in the way. So we hide the jewels she gave us, rip our clothes like we're mourning, and act sad until we return to the valley. And then? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Psyche obviously had no idea what her sisters were up to and was already planning for their next visit. Honestly, I don't know why you're always hiding. My sisters would love to meet you. No, I have a bad feeling about this. You cannot tell them anything about me, and be extremely careful about listening to anything they say, you hear? I hear you. Especially these days. You know you're pregnant, right? What? How did he know before she did? God powers. It's worse in the book. His exact quote is, "Though you are still only a child, you will soon have a child of your own, which shall be born divine if you keep our secret, but mortal if you divulge it." Well, yeah, anyone who says that it was a different time when it comes to the morality of grown men marrying children and teenagers is just fooling themselves. Anyway, obviously the sisters visited again a little while later, and they figured out pretty quickly that Psyche was pregnant. Sit down. You can't be running around too much with a baby in the belly. Tell us, how did hubby react when you told him the good news? Oh, he told me. He's been very protective. Didn't even want me to invite you back. I think he worries about me stressing myself out too much. Oh, how sweet. I don't recall our father ever doing that when Mom was pregnant. Is that a local custom for him? Where's his family from? Oh, everywhere. He's a merchant. Very rich. He's been all over the world in the decades he's been working. I thought he was a young hunter. Psyche, has he been telling you to lie to us? No. Okay, I admit it. I don't know what he looks like. But that's fine. Who cares about physical appearance? Obsessing over it has only ever caused us grief. You think he might be? What? What is it? It's just, we heard about this enormous snake that's been seen in the valley with venomous fangs and a body that could coil around you 12 times. Yeah, the farmers we talked to were terrified. They've seen him swimming around the ford there. My husband hasn't mentioned anything about a giant snake. Because he probably is the snake. The farmers all said that his favorite food is a woman in the late stages of pregnancy. He's fattening you up. Literally. No, he wouldn't. Look at the palace he's given me. A great trap for a princess, don't you think? Psyche, didn't the oracle say that you'd marry a monster? Oh, God. It's okay. Look, we'll figure this out. He's not going to let us stay here, so it has to be on you. Yeah, it's easy. All you have to do is sneak up on him at night when he's sleeping and, What? You want me to kill my husband? I want you to protect yourself and your unborn child. You know that if you try to run, he'll just chase after you. You've got to kill him. Make sure you chop off the whole head. It's the only way to be sure. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. If you want to decapitate someone, you use an axe or a sword. The neck has too many muscles, tendons, and bones for a knife to get through with any speed. Okay, I know the sisters are lying and they're only pushing Psyche to do this because they're jealous bitches, but I hope Psyche actually manages to take his head. Well, she doesn't. Damn! That night, Psyche went into her husband's room with an oil lamp and a knife. Husband, whose name I still don't know. You awake? Okay. Of course, when Psyche finally got a good look at her husband as he slept in his bed, she did not see a monster or giant snake, but the very handsome god, Eros. Kill him! Shut up. Damn, he cute. What's this? Some versions of the story have her pricking herself on one of Eros' golden arrows, further sealing her fate and falling in love with him. Unfortunately, some oil from her lamp spills onto Eros' arm, burning him and waking him up. Yeah, what the hell? I'm sorry, I thought you were a monster. That's supposed to make this better? Yeah. Because you still won't even tell me your god's damn name! Because I disobeyed the direct orders of my mother. Aphrodite told me to make you fall in love with something worthless and horrible, but I decided to spare you and become your lover myself. A stupid, thoughtless decision. I told you not to listen to your sisters, and what did you do? I listened to my sisters. You listened to your sisters. You let them manipulate you into thinking I would hurt you when all I've ever done is care about you. Goodbye, Psyche. He just bails on his pregnant wife? Cold. Depending on the version, Psyche's already tried to kill herself twice by this point. Twice? Once when she first saw Eros and felt so guilty that she tried to stab herself with a knife, except the knife turned itself aside because it couldn't bear to hurt someone so beautiful. Right. because that's how physics works. And again after Eros leaves by jumping in the river, except the river washes her back ashore out of respect for her husband. So she has major depression and a bun in the oven, and he bailed. Phenomenal. At some point, one has to take responsibility for their own mental health. You can't expect their romantic partners to have much say in it. But yes, neither of them handled themselves particularly well. Anyway, Psyche ended up wandering for a while, eventually reaching one of her sister's kingdoms.
Oh my god, Psyche, you look awful. What happened?
He wasn't a snake.
What?
My husband. He wasn't a snake. He was Eros, the god.
Oh, no.
He was so mad when I tried to kill him that he ordered me out of his house and divorced me. And then he said he was going to marry my eldest sister instead.
I gotta go. Zephyr, god of the west wind, the great god Eros has proclaimed his love to me. Take me to his palace at once. What?
Oh yeah. And then Psyche went to her other sister's city, told her the same thing, and her middle sister died doing the exact same thing.
What a manipulative bitch. I love it. I cannot believe you. You explicitly disobeyed my orders, married the girl everyone's been favoring over your own mother, and now you come crying to me because she, inevitably, broke your heart? Give any idea how embarrassing this is? I'm the laughingstock of Olympus and all the world.
Nothing to say?
Really, Eros, this is your own fault. You've always been mischievous to the point of cruelty. It's about time you got a taste of your own medicine.
I suppose the best way to mitigate the damage is to find your little whore and punish her properly. Where is she? I don't know. She left the palace.
I can't rely on anyone around here. You gotta do everything myself. Stupid footsteps, so much oil and rotten.
Well, here's an interesting sight. Not every day the goddess of love ruins her beauty with such a frown.
What has you so grumbly? Family troubles. Can you do me a favor? Send word on Earth that I'm looking for a mortal woman named Psyche. I'm sure you've heard the drama.
We have?
Darling, I don't think you should take this situation to heart. Your son has committed no crime. He and the girl are legally married. They seem to genuinely love each other, so why try to thwart him?
Yeah, and he may be young by godly standards, but he's still a grown man. You know more than anyone the needs of men. How can you be the goddess of sexual desire while trying to repress it in your own son?
Oh, I can't rely on anyone these days. Hermes, I need you to send a message.
Hey, look, as queen, I feel you should know I couldn't give two shits about Eros or his girlfriend. Oh, I know. I just don't want him to hear that I badmouthed him and shoot another golden arrow at Zeus. The boy's a monster I'd rather not deal with.
Same. I'd much rather stay single than get saddled with whatever guy he makes me fall in love with. Aphrodite spoiled him so bad. You don't see Persephone causing these kinds of problems.
I feel like if this was an Am I the Asshole Reddit post, the unanimous agreement would be everyone sucks, go get therapy.
Absolutely.
I'm not on Reddit. Anyway, Psyche continued to wander and eventually came to one of Demeter's temples, finding it in total disarray. So in the hopes of getting some Olympian assistance, she cleaned it up. And it worked. Demeter noticed her due diligence and came down to greet her.
Girl, Aphrodite is furious. She's searching the whole world for you. Well, then can you please help me? Maybe hide me for a bit until she cools down?
Look, I didn't tell her directly because I'm frankly afraid of her son. But I'm honestly more afraid of her. I can't help you, I'm sorry. So Psyche moved on, eventually finding a temple to Hera.
Oh, thank the gods. Goddess of marriage and childbirth, queen of heaven, please, help a girl out. I am pregnant and exhausted and terrified, and I have Aphrodite out to kick my ass.
Hey, so I would love to help you, but legally, I can't. Even though your marriage to Eros is perfectly legal, you still horrifically offended Aphrodite on multiple levels. She has a right to her vengeance. I won't help her because I support your marriage to Eros and honestly don't want to get in his way, but I can't get in her way either.
Damn it.
That'd be counterintuitive. Maybe I should just go straight to Aphrodite. I can try to calm her down. Eros probably flew straight to her anyway.
Hear ye, hear
Hear ye! If anyone can capture or has information on a runaway princess named Psyche, let him come to me or Aphrodite, who has declared vengeance. Any information leading to Psyche's capture will be rewarded by a makeout session with Aphrodite herself. Yeah, I'm not about to be a global fugitive. Lord Hermes! Hey!
Yeah, hey, where's Aphrodite's nearest temple?
Oh, this'll go well. No, it won't. Well, I see you finally decided to pay your mother-in-law a visit. Lady Aphrodite, I'd like to apologize for my hubris.
I don't want to hear it. I'll have my servants' anxiety and grief towards you for a bit before we get started.
Again, how is this a love story? It's a metaphor. Jesus Christ. Okay, after the torture session, Aphrodite spilled out a bunch of seeds on the floor. Wheat, barley, millet, lentils, beans, poppy, and mixed them all together.
You are going to prove if you're worthy of my son. Let's see how industrious you are. See this pile of seeds? You are going to sort out the different kinds into distinct piles. Do it by nightfall.
That's impossible. Wow, my son got a real smart one. Ugh. As Psyche sat staring at the pile of seeds, a passing ant saw her situation. A what?
Holy shit, that is Eros' wife. Hey guys, hey, Eros' wife is in danger. We should help her out. Everyone grab a seed.
What in the Disney princess bullshit? Walt had to get the idea from somewhere. The ants had the grain sorted out in no time, and Aphrodite was none too pleased when she returned, tossing Psyche a crust of black bread for her supper before going to bed. And Eros is just letting his mom torture his wife like this? No, that's the thing. Mom, I'm fine. Alright, Psyche and I can talk it out. You're just making this worse. Shh, Mother knows best, dear, okay? I'll unlock your door when I'm done. So he's imprisoned. He's still an asshole. The next morning, Aphrodite took Psyche out to a field by a stream. You see those golden sheep? I want you to get me a hank of their wool. They don't even have a shepherd.
That's because they're carnivorous. They eat human flesh. Good luck.
Ugh, what if I just drown myself in the stream? At least then I wouldn't have to deal with this. Hey, could you not? I hate having to clean corpses from my street. Look, the sheep always settle down in the evening. They'll go right to sleep at sundown. Then you can go to the grove over there and gather up the golden wool stuck to the briars. Should be more than enough for a hank. Well, that's a lot more effort. But also I want to see the look on Aphrodite's face more than I want to die. Test number 3. Psyche was tasked with collecting water from the river Styx, or the river Kokitos, depending on who's telling the story, from a high mountain, which was not only almost impossible to climb up and down, but was also guarded by several dragons. Ooh, not the kind like Ruthu. Ancient Greek dragons typically did not have wings or human intelligence. Lame. Death by dragging? Or death by tripping off that cliff? Hey, or you could just give me that cup and I'll fill it up for you. You do that? Why? Oh, I owe your husband for helping me with Ganymedes. Guy was heavier than he looked, let me tell you. BRB. I know that I am not going to like the answer to this question, but who is Ganymedes? He is a cute Trojan that Zeus got a crush on, so Zeus either turned into an eagle to kidnap him or ordered an eagle to kidnap him so he could live on Mount Olympus as his lover and cupbearer. Okay. On the one hand, I appreciate the fact that the king of the gods is a disaster bisexual icon. On the other hand, Jesus Christ, are there any functional relationships in this entire mythology? Relatively? Hades and Persephone. Didn't he also kidnap her? As I said, relatively. Ugh. Here is your cup full of magic water. I assume that's the last of the tasks. It's usually 3 and then done. Go to hell. I won't lie, I was kind of hoping for a better relationship with my mother-in-law. No, I mean task number 4 is you go to hell. Take this box and give it to Persephone, queen of the underworld. Tell her, the Lady Aphrodite's compliments, and will you please send this box back to her with a little of your beauty inside of it. Just enough to last for a day. She's been run ragged caring for her injured and heartbroken son. Then come back at once so I can use her makeup before I go to Olympus. It's theater night, and I refuse to let Ares pick the play. I love the man, but he has no taste. Right. Let me guess. She tries to kill herself. Yes, although this was less out of despair and more because she thought it was the only way to get to the underworld. Luckily, a sentient tower that she considered jumping off of told her where to find the actual tunnel to the underworld, and told her to bring a couple of coins for Charon the ferryman and some honey cakes for Cerberus the guard dog. The three-headed puppo. Oh, you know that name? Dogs are so overrated. Hey, we do not endorse puppy slander in this cafe, no matter how many heads they have. So that's the situation. Lady Aphrodite graciously asks for 1 day's worth of beauty in this box. She's been very stressed the last few days. This is why I became queen of the underworld. Keeping up with all that Olympian drama is exhausting. Give me the box. Persephone did something to the box that Psyche didn't see before returning it, and Psyche returned to the realm of the Lily. As she was walking back to the temple, you know, the last few days have made me look like crap. Eros is still probably going to be pissed at me, but I use a little bit of the divine beauty. Oh, this is why you keep your nose out of other people's business. What was actually in the box? A truly Stygian sleep. Essentially, she went right into a coma, or died, depending on the narrator. Luckily, at the same time, Eros finally managed to escape Aphrodite's temple and went straight to Psyche, waking her up. So, that is twice your curiosity has bit you in the ass. Have we finally learned our lesson? Yeah. Awesome. You finish your task, I'll handle everything else. Hey, King Zeus, my favorite Olympian. Got a favor to ask. I swear, if it is not, give my girlfriend the bestest, healthiest, awesomest life away from me and my toxic family. No. He does not get the moral high ground. Scold her for being too curious, fine. But he is still not trusting her with any information, and he didn't even apologize for bailing on her and betraying her to Aphrodite, the one goddess who had it in for her. Of course not. She is but a woman, and in the ancient Greek world, she is to unquestionably obey first her father, then her husband. Learning that lesson is crucial to the happy ending. Ugh. Let me get this straight. You shoot me with your golden arrows every other day, making me cheat on my wife. You cause problems and scandals for literally everyone you've ever met. And now you want me to anger your mother by letting you marry a mortal woman who has spent her entire life insulting your mother and the gods as a whole? And on top of all that, you want me to not sleep with this woman, the most beautiful on earth. Zeus, we both know you've never needed my arrows to cheat. You can never keep it in your toga. You little shit. Alright, fine. But you owe me big time. I'd advise you to introduce me to whatever gorgeous girl, not named Psyche, is on Earth these days. Use your arrows if you must. Right, because there wasn't enough sexism in this horror story. There's also classism, as Zeus orders everyone on Olympus to attend the wedding, threatening them with a horrifically expensive fine if they don't attend. Classy. I love it when my party invitations come with threats.
Zeus, please, you cannot allow this marriage to happen. It's an insult.
It is not. I will see to it that your son's remarriage is one between equals. Here, Psyche, drink this nectar and you'll become immortal. Now that he's married, Eros will never fly away from your arms, but must remain your lawful husband forever. Yeah, that's how that works. And they got divorced within a year, because no relationship could survive that kind of bullshit. See, that's the problem. You're taking the story too literally. The Greek gods aren't actually people. They're the embodiments of whatever they're the god of. In this case, Eros is the living embodiment of erotic and romantic love, and Psyche represents the human soul. That's literally what her name means in ancient Greek. Their whole story is an allegory. The human soul has to suffer, to be purified by pain, anxiety, and grief in order to accept and appreciate true happiness and love, which is represented both with her marriage to Eros and the birth of their child Hedone, the personification of joy and sensuality. Look, call me a dumb American, but if you're having people in your stories, they should act and face consequences as people. And is it too much to ask to have a woman character with an actual head on her shoulders? In ancient Greek lore? Slim pickets. Luckily, there is a modern rewrite of this story called Monstrous, where Psyche is much more intelligent, emotionally stable, and even learns witchcraft, while Eros is much more respectful of her wishes and autonomy. The relationship is, therefore, quite healthy and non-toxic.
Really?
It has not been released yet. In fact, to secure the funds necessary for editors, formatter, and the cover artist, it's currently undergoing a Kickstarter campaign that lasts until March 1st. Assuming all funds are secured and everything else goes according to plan, it'll be in bookstores next year. What I'm hearing is that Nicole doesn't have this book, so it's safe to get.